Nico Rosberg has arrived. Nico, P2, all the pre-season testing and training is done. You must be excited that it's actually race day has finally arrived.
Oh, wrong button. Yeah, no, it's a very exciting time, of course, now. Locked out the front row yesterday with Mercedes, and our car is amazing, so I'm very, very happy about that. And it'll be an exciting day today. And anyway, what I also want to say is it's really amazing how you've organized this race. It's really benchmark in the sport, and I think everybody's having an awesome time, and that's great. It's great to see that.
That's lovely to hear. Just as we let you go, have you had much of a chance to think about the first corner?
No, of course it's my opportunity, or one of the opportunities, so I'll go for it. If an opportunity comes up, I'll take it.
I love you here. Have a great race.
Thank you, Nico. Yeah, great to hear that as well. No doubt he dreamt a little bit about that first corner. He was a champion here in 2014. He'll be eyeing off that top spot again, but he'll have to get the edge over his teammate, of course, none other than Lewis Hamilton. Let's go to the Porsche Carrera Cup now. It's back to the legendary commentators Jack Perkins and Richard Craill.
Legendary. Thank you, Mel. I don't know how we're going to live up to that, but appreciate it nonetheless. Yeah, final race of the weekend for the Porsche Carrera Cup, and the story of the weekend so far, Jack Perkins, a debut win for Nick McBride, which is a brilliant story, but the defending champion, Stephen Richards, he won the opening round of the championship at the Calypso 500. He's on pole for this race because he won race 2 yesterday. What a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Richo started his, reigning championship year in great fashion, winning yesterday, and also the clean sweep at Adelaide. But nice words from Nico Rosberg there about our event. Someone needs to tell Mark Howard that he actually had nothing to do with the event itself. Mark's just here working for us, but that's okay. As we see the first of the Tag Heuer Challenge runners in Max Twigg starting 11th.
Yeah, Max has been having a great weekend. 2 class victories in that race within a race in Porsche Carrera Cup. I think Howard would claim some responsibility at some point along the way, wouldn't he? He's been here long enough.
Mate, if I see Nico Rosberg, I'll let him know that he had nothing to do with the organisation. But very nice words. It is a fantastic event here. I mean, the Albert Park Grand Prix, it's it's a driver's favourite, and really looking forward to the first Grand Prix of the year. But more importantly, we've got a Porsche Carrera Cup race here, and I'm looking forward to this one. As a similar situation with the V8 supercars, there's tyre strategy involved with this race, and it'll be interesting to see if Richard has used his best tyres.
It will be, and so too Cam McConville, who's been very impressive this weekend and continuing to chip away on his return to, well, it's not full-time motor racing, but a full season in one category. He's been the busiest man at Albert Park this weekend, running around in the 2-seater Swiss Formula 1 car that we've seen in this speed comparison. Still got one of those coming up as well, and some of our Network 10 guests will be in the passenger seat of those cars. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they respond to that. We've had some seasoned sports people in there. We heard from Leighton Hewitt earlier on, and he was fine with it. So too was Beck, but I reckon Osher, for example, but Wally, they might be in a world of pain.
I mean, it's a really cool opportunity to be in a race in a passenger seat with 3 different cars. But I mean, McConville's got it all in front of him. He drives to the track in a right-hand drive road car. He's now out there in a left-hand drive Porsche, and then he's got to get back out there in a Formula 1 car. So he's got it all ahead of him. But good on him, and it's a great opportunity. That speed comparison that'll be coming up later. It's a fantastic handicap race, and really shows you the speeds that are out there on the racetrack.
This is a championship round for Porsche Carrera Cup, unlike the V8 supercars, so points are on the line. The net result after 2 races so far is that Stephen Richards has extended his championship lead over Nick McBride. 294 points to Richo. Nick McBride 246. Craig Baird, the 5-time champion, 3rd in the championship, 4th on the grid behind McBride for this race. Shay Davies and Richard Muscat will go from the 3rd row. They've got plenty of speed aboard. Everyone will have their best set of Michelin tyres on for this final race of the weekend for Porsche Carrera Cup. They go into quite a big break, 2 months between this round and the next one for the Carrera Cup Championship. So it's important they go into that break with a lot of momentum and the best possible championship position they can get.
I've been really impressed with Nick Bride this weekend. Got his first pole position and first race win, starting from 3rd today. He'll be looking to try and get back up there and get another win.
So all 24 cars take up their position on the Albert Park starting grid. 3.8 litre flat 6. That sweet sound of Porsche. We're underway for the final race of the weekend. Good start, Craig Baird. Very good start, Craig Baird. Goes around McConnell, and there's hip and shoulders with Shay Davies getting into Nick McBride. The run down to turn 1. Richards leads. Baird 2nd. The fight's on for 3rd. Davies will go round and grab that spot.
Great start from Craig Baird. That's what he's famous for in this category. Nick McBride must have damage. He's slow in there on the inside of the racetrack. What a shame. Shay Davies come across the front of him. It looks like it's damaged that Bob Jane T-Much Porsche, and what a shame for young Nick.
He was having such a good weekend. A win and a second in the championship, and now he's buried at the bottom half of the top 10. The 77 car. What a shame. There's Nick Foster. He's been charging his way forward. Started 24th yesterday, worked his way to 11th, a very good drive. After a devastating non-finish in race 1, yesterday was his first race finish in 5 for the year. So he was just desperate to get some points on the board. But a flying start from Craig Baird, he's second. Shay Davies, the Queenslander, aggressive on the opening lap, works his way to 3rd. Meanwhile, Mark Howard continues to meet the Formula 1 drivers as they arrive at Albert Park. Howie?
Kimi Räikkönen has just arrived. There's so many fans in this part of the world. Kimi, 5th in qualifying. Were you happy with your qualifying performance?
No, not really. I mean, I had a big mistake and lost quite a bit of time, so we should have really been 3rd, but that's how it goes.
Looks like a pretty good race package, though, as far as the race is concerned.
Well, we'll see it today, but on Friday we did pretty well, so let's see.
Thanks for your luck. Thanks for your time. Best of luck, buddy.
Every year, Howie loves a Kimi Räikkönen interview, looks forward to it. Highlight of his weekend right there, I think.
That's the most he's ever got from Kimi too. So, I mean, what a talent Kimi is. He can drive better than as good as anyone else out there. He's just got this personality that no one can crack, but good to see him here, and he'll be on the track later this afternoon.
1 of 10 completed in Porsche Carrera Cup. Baird and Richard split by nothing. The Arthur Apartments car, special sponsor for this weekend. Hallmark Property Group getting on board. Mark Sini's company and Michael Lochisano, both well-known Porsche racers. Baird is on here.
Yeah, Baird's looking racy here. He's got good momentum out of turn 2, looking for a move at turn 3.
Great pressure between the two of them, and Richards defends and covers his racing line. Busy behind them. That's David Russell in the Finance Easy car. Richard Muscat, Matt Campbell, a whole host of really young, talented drivers coming into Carrera Cup this season. Behind them is Michael Armour, Devarshan Padiachi, Nick Foster in the middle. He's up to 8th place, so he's already got 3 spots. He's probably got the best tyres of anyone because he did not many laps in that opening race.
Yeah, that's true, and unfortunately that's sometimes the byproduct of bad luck is getting good tyres, but it means you haven't accumulated points, and he's on the back of young Matt Campbell, and this kid's really impressing me. Qualified on the front row, and Nick's got having a look on the inside of him, but he's really young, and he has ran wide, and unfortunately he's lost a spot there, and I think Mark Howard's got someone else rocking up.
Great to see Sebastian Vettel here, 4 world titles under his belt, and as always, the Australian fans love spending time with Sebastian.
I don't know, they love spending time with me.
They do.
It's nice, you know, to see that people enjoy us being here, so it's the least that we can give back.
How are you feeling about the race today?
It should be good. It's a long race. It's the first one of the season, so we'll see.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
The world champion a few years ago, 4 in a row, unbelievable driver. Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari looking really good this weekend so far. Taking a look at some of the action on the opening lap, that's Scott Taylor and Adrian Mastronado with some damage around the back of the circuit. Meanwhile, Craig Baird applies the pressure to his old mate and sparring partner Stephen Richards. Looks down the inside at turn 1. Really difficult to overtake there, but Richo is under pressure. And you get the feeling Baird has saved his best tyres for this race, and he is relentless on the back of that laser plumbing and electrical Porsche. You feel a lead change not far away. Muscat now with Nick Foster behind, alongside, and now in front. Position changes. Foster goes to 6th.
Yeah, good drive, Nick. And this has been where the action's been all weekend, from 5th to 10th. All these young kids that are new to the category, or reasonably new, just racing hard, and it's good to see as we're back to the lead now. Beardo maybe just lost a little bit of ground there to Richo, and Cameron McConville in 3rd with Shay Davies in 4th.
McConville, the fastest man on the racetrack last time round, and continuing that this lap while our 2 leaders dice. So this might be a battle of 3 before we know it. You can see the OPS Gateway car, number 14 there, 3rd in shot. There's Foster chasing down David Russell.
Beardo's lost half a second in the first sector there, and he's losing ground to Richo. So I don't know if he's got a problem or if he made a mistake, but he needs to get back on the rear and try and find a passing spot as we watch Nick Foster looking to make a move on Dave Russell.
This is a really feisty little battle pack, but this will be a pleasing drive for Foster, who desperately needs some championship points on the board this weekend. Based on the Gold Coast, plenty of time in Formula Ford, rising through the ranks with Sonic Motor Racing, who prepared this car, spent a year in Formula 3, then came back to Carrera Cup last year and was always one of the fastest guys. Had a lot of bad luck in the second half of the year. It cost him plenty of championship points, but he's always a contender. So too David Russell.
One thing you can't take away from Nick, and he's had some bad luck and had some crashes, but he's got serious car speed, doesn't he? We saw this at Adelaide at the start of the year. He came from the rear field, got to 4th, and then turn 8-bit, the fastest, most notorious corner in Australian motorsport, and unfortunately he destroyed that car, and he's now in another chassis. But like I said, he's got the car speed there, so you just need to nurture that talent and work at how you can get it mistake-free, and so far he's putting together another good drive.
McConville again the fastest man on track. Takes 6 tenths out of Craig Baird, 2nd and 3rd. Davies in 4th place, McConville 3rd, and Richards in the lead, set identical lap times to within 0.01 of a second last time round. Very evenly matched, those three. McBride has just left pit lane. He's back on the road. I wonder if he might have had a cut tyre from some of that bumping and bashing on the opening lap.
And normally you can get away with a little bit of bodywork contact, but that looked like wheel-to-wheel contact, so either tyre damage, rim damage, or even steering damage. As Nick Foster ranging on the back of Dave Russell, this is one spot where he's looked incredibly faster here. This is a long sweeping corner that gets a lot of aero understeer where you lose the front downforce, and he can't quite get a run to get up the inside.
Not quite. We're talking about damage. Might be some rear bumper damage for the Finance Easy Porsche, because Nick Foster was all over it. We need to be careful with that in Porsche Carrera Cup, because the radiators, and we've seen it with Nick Foster this weekend, mounted right behind that front bar on these cars. So very easy to puncture the radiator and dump all the coolant and water over the road. Grabs the curb on the inside. Good run out of there, but I'm not sure if he'll be close enough to make a move and get himself into the top 5. Richards responding out in front. The lead is 1.2 seconds.
Beardo doesn't have the speed. He's lost another 6 tenths in that sector, so whether he's got an issue or not, or maybe he's just defending Cameron McConville, but I really thought in that first lap he was going to have something for Richo.
Max Twigg 11th, leading the Tag Heuer Carrera Challenge. That's the race within a race in Carrera Cup for semi-professional drivers. They have a proper red-hot go at every round. So there's the lead. 1, 2, 3 across the line. Richards sets the fastest lap of the race, 59.6, and extends the margin more. And I think we're going to have a battle for second soon, with Baird and McConville closing in on each other. And then there's back to this fight. Foster continually relentless up behind David Russell. It's a great battle all the way through the Porsche Carrera Cup field. We'll jump away for a short commercial break and come back with a conclusion and more Formula 1 driver arrivals on the other side of this. Porsche Carrera Cup action continues. Home of Big Event Motorsport, Network 10, right throughout the day as we continue our countdown to the Australian Grand Prix a little bit later on this afternoon. Our team's getting ready for that. Includes Mark Webber and the 1980 Formula 1 World Champion Alan Jones. Looking forward to all the action from a great race, and the drivers continue to arrive, and the man on the scene is our own Mark Howard.
Great to see Romain Grosjean, a very popular man in this part of the world, getting selfie number 7,000 for the weekend. Romain, great to see you. 9th in qualifying yesterday. Happy?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's where we wanted to be, and we knew the car was much better this year, so things are looking good. Weather's been a bit tricky, as every year. Now it's cloudy, but happy with what we have been doing, and hopefully we can get more.
Looks like you made some real developments. Last year was a very difficult year for you and the team, but some really positive form coming into this race.
Yeah, I think we've made a huge progress with the car. That's really impressive. It's really positive, and I'm sure there's more to come. So, you know, we're going to push hard to achieve that, and hopefully get closer to the podium.
Best of luck, Romain. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's been a great turnaround for the Lotus team. Mercedes-Benz Power this year, as Romain said, has really tuned those cars up well inside the top 10. Looking forward to seeing how they perform a bit later on this afternoon. This is Matt Campbell, the young Queenslander, from Warwick. Impressive young man. Came out of Porsche's own junior formula here in Australia, the GT3 Cup Challenge. He won his class in that category last year and jumped into Carrera Cup, the McElroy racing team this year. He's been fast from the outset. Currently runs 8th and is dicing with Richard Muscat and David Russell a little bit further up the road. Meanwhile, Stephen Richards, the defending champ, continues to lead, but he's been reined in the last lap by Craig Baird and Cameron McConville. It really is now a battle between the top three really experienced guys, Jack Perkins, in V8 supercar competition, in GT racing, and now in Carrera Cup.
Yeah, I mean, we thought this leading trio had neutralised, but it looks like Richo might be falling back into the clutches of Beardo, and McConville was setting fast laps, but back in 5th, Nick Foster is the fastest man on track. He set the fastest lap the lap before, and he's currently yellow sectors through Sector 2, which means he's going faster again. But like you say, Steve Richards out in front. He'll be teaming up with Craig Lowndes in the V8 supercar races later in the year. So it's a very much a proving ground here for many of the drivers. We've seen James Moffat, Dave Reynolds and many more come up through the Porsche Carrera Cup rankings through the years.
Yeah, it's a great breeding ground for enduro talent, for full-time drivers, and really working on now. One of the big stories coming into today's race is the condition of Valtteri Bottas, the Williams Formula One driver. Howie, I think you've got some news on how he's going this morning.
Well, it's still getting close to the race, isn't it? Richard and Jack probably only 3 hours away now, under 3 hours. We've just had a chat with Williams and Claire Williams to find out exactly what's going on. They say they're still about 20-25 minutes away from making a decision. So at this stage, there's no confirmation that Valtteri will be able to start the race. They're still going through it. He's still spending some time with the physio. The test driver cannot start the race. So if Valtteri's not able to start the race in the Williams car, they will only have one car out on track, which is, of course, Felipe Massa. So hopefully within the next half an hour, Richard will get an update. But at this stage, still uncertainty at Williams.
Yeah, thanks, Howie. It's an interesting story. It would be such a shame if we don't see that really fast finish driver on the grid this afternoon. He was electrifying yesterday. Big save, Jack, down at the final corner on his hot lap in quali that impressed even our own Mark Webber, who was just breathtaking about the car control to save that slide. We need him in the race. I hope he's good to go.
Yeah, we do. And maybe it was the wheel work that caused some aggravation in his back. But, I mean, it's a devastating scenario for him. I mean, you do a lot of work in their winter, you know, our summer, getting ready, getting physically prepared, and then testing. And then to come here and find whether the seat position's not quite comfortable for him. And he got out of the car. And he was struggling to walk yesterday. And that's a big shame if they can't field that car. And there were a lot of excited people last night that their test driver, Susie Wolf, who's a female, may have been able to race there, but Howie clarifying that she won't be able to compete if Valtteri can't.
Yeah, the rules state you have to qualify to be able to race, so unfortunately Susie won't be able to start the race. It's a shame if he doesn't run, because those Williams are pretty handy. This battle for Carrera Cup's not done yet. 2 to go in this final race of the weekend, the second round, the Carrera Cup Championship. Richards, Baird, McConville, they're covered by 8 tenths now. It's the closest all three have been. And there's the 5-time champ up behind the man who beat him last year. The first time in a long time that Beardo's not carrying number 1. Here's Tony Bates, the AFS number 24 Porsche, the man who won the Tag Heuer Carrera Challenge round at the Clipsal 500 in great style. Just running wide out of turn 12 and losing a place to Shane Smollen.
Great shots here through turn 1. Slow-mo. Richo hit the curb. A little bit of oversteer mid-corner. You can see him. Opposite lock. Look at the fingers on the steering wheel. That's a cool shot.
Look at McConville. If they're not careful, these two leaders, he could be the one that comes through and gets an unlikely victory here, Cam. If they're warring away in front, he could be a beneficiary of anything that goes on between Richo and Beardo. A battle for the lead. And Shea Davies set the fastest lap of the race just 2 laps ago. The 59.3. It's the quickest they've been around here for a long time. And he's just in the back of shot there in that Scotty Taylor Motorsport prepared number 88 car.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, with the 3 guys in front are probably the 3 most experienced guys in the field. If you change that order up and maybe snuck Nick Foster in there somewhere, I reckon, you know, he'd have a bit more of a chance of making a move, because these boys know they're here for the championship second round, long year. Let's get some points. But at a detriment, they may not look to make a big passing move. Foster in 5th. You can just see the Bob Jane T-Mart's Sonic Motor Racing Porsche at the back of shot there as they run into 13. He is closing on these leaders as they squabble over these final few spots on the podium. Probably won't be fast enough to cruise up to the back of them before this race is out. They're about to start their final lap. Yesterday was a milestone race for Porsche Carrera Cup, their 250th in Australia.
It's got a great history. Richards feeling like he needs to defend on the run down towards turn 1. That laser plumbing and electrical Porsche, I thought Baird was that close.
He may have thought that the race was over. He was heading over for what might have been a victory celebration, but one more to go, and that's Scotty Taylor, Shay Davies' teammate, in the gravel trap that looks to be like turn 6. We've got a replay here. There is Scotty Taylor, just lost the rear on entry, slid through the corner, spun the car around and buried in that sand trap.
Same corner where Kevin Magnussen crashed his McLaren a little bit earlier on in the weekend in practice. It's the start of a pretty bad weekend for those guys. This battle, 4 cars fighting for the lead in the final Carrera Cup race of the weekend.
So they've got a yellow flag down here. Scotty will still be in the sand trap, so not allowed to make any pass in there. As we'll see Scotty there in shot, and as Shay Davies, his teammate, in 4th, just ranges behind him.
Scott's got a pretty handy guy on his team this year. One, Glenn Seaton, helping out behind the scenes, and also Glenn's young 16-year-old son, Aaron, will be racing a Scotty Taylor Motorsport prepared Porsche in the GT3 Cup Challenge. Actually starts at Sandown in 2 weeks' time, and Aaron really progressing through the ranks. Great young talent following in his father's footsteps.
Yeah, and it's good to see, you know. Glenn was one of our most recognised drivers, and to see his son following his footsteps is great. And they've also got Campbell Little down there, one of our biggest well-known sort of V8 engineers from the supercar paddock down there, helping that Porsche team. So certainly a good investment from that team, and they'll be looking to have great success in Carrera Cup and also the GT3 Challenge.
I think Stephen Richards has got this. He's got just enough of a margin over Craig Baird to bring this one home, to win his 2nd race of the weekend, to win his 2nd round in succession. Bearing in mind, he only won 1 of them in his entire championship campaign last year, and that was his first ever Carrera Cup round victory. 11 race wins before this weekend. This will be lucky number 13 for Stephen Richards, his 2nd round win in succession. The champion is dominating Carrera Cup in 2015.
And good job, Richo. Pretty happy with that by the look of that. As we look back down the pack here, that was Fraser Ross, and there's Max Twigg in the Tag Heuer Challenge. Behind Padiachi there.
And Simon Hodge from the back of the field, the rookie in Carrera Cup, F3 champion last year, up to 14th place. That's a solid drive. Well done, Fraser Ross, local boy. He'll be delighted with a top 10 finish at home. Spike Goddard just behind him. Then Devash and Padiachi. Max Twigg wins the Carrera Challenge. And there's Shane Smolin and Tony Bates. We saw these two swap positions earlier in the race, and it might be very close to the line between those two, but Smolin will hold on. So Twigg, Largo, Smolin, 1, 2, 3 in the Porsche race within a race, the Carrera Challenge. That man has been electrifying this weekend.
Yeah, be very happy with his, start to the year. Great, done a great job. As we see Steve Richards at the top, Craig Baird, Cameron McConville, Shay Davies, and Nick Foster in 5th was a great drive.
It's been a great weekend in Carrera Cup. Russell, Campbell, Muscat, Armand and Ross rounding out the top 10. Well, this weekend has been all about sleek cars and high-speed action. What better movies to embody this than those of the Fast and Furious franchise? The entire cast is back for Fast and Furious 7. Promises a powerful, emotion-packed ride. This